Now that we've looked at basic text file formats, we're going to look at image file formats. To do that, we're going to use a piece of software called GIMP. GIMP is a free application made to look and act a lot like Photoshop. GIMP is freely available for Macintoshes, Windows, and Linux platforms, and many of our course websites have a download link to GIMP on them. If not, you can Google for the GIMP application and find the download. GIMP looks and acts a lot like Photoshop, and it's based on the same concepts. So one of the reasons we show you GIMP is that the concepts you learn in GIMP are easily transferable to working in Photoshop. Now today I'm not going to go into the extensive capabilities of GIMP. We do that in a module in the CSC 101 course. Today I'm just going to be using GIMP as a basic drawing tool to create an image so that I can show you some file formats. And GIMP is not designed primarily as a drawing tool. It has drawing capabilities in it. But GIMP's main purpose is to manipulate images, take JPEG images, say, off a digital camera, and create really good image manipulation capabilities so that you can create really neat images. But I'll do a simple drawing today. So what you're seeing here is GIMP's interface. I've downloaded GIMP to my personal computer and run it. It presents a tool palette similar to a tool palette you would see in Photoshop, and the tool palette are some of the things that you can do to images in GIMP. It also has a window for the image itself that has menus across the top, and the menus have even more extensive capabilities for things you can do to images. To create an image to demonstrate file formats, I'm going to go to the File menu here and choose New. And you can specify the size of the window. I'm just going to leave the default size for now and say OK. And I get another window that I can work with an image in. To make my drawing, I'm going to move over to the tool palette and choose the paintbrush tool. You see that if you hover over the tools, it shows you what the tool is. So I'm choosing the paintbrush tool. I click on it to select it, and I will come over here and I'll make a drawing. So I'm clicking and holding my mouse and moving my mouse in the pattern that I want to have for the drawing. Once I have my drawing, I need to save it in an image format. So I go to GIMP's File menu and choose Save As. Up will come a dialog box allowing me to name my drawing. So I'll name it First Image. Specify the folder to save it in. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And select the file type. Notice the little plus sign here. So you hit the plus sign and it gives you some of the different file types that you can save your image in. By default, it's saved in an XCF format, which is GIMP's own format for images. But we're going to save it in some of the more typical image formats that you're going to work with. So first, let's save it as, scrolling down, a Windows BMP image. This is a bitmap image, and bitmap is discussed in another module in the course. It's the image format that saves every pixel of the image as 1 or more bytes. So let's save this as First Image, and by selecting the file type as BMP, notice that GIMP will add .bmp as the file extension. So I'm saving my little drawing as firstimage.bmp to my desktop, and I click Save. If I minimize my GIMP window, move this over a little bit, we can see on the desktop, here's firstimage.bmp that I saved from GIMP. Bringing GIMP back up, I'll take the same drawing and do another Save As. Keep it called First Image, but now delete the .bmp, have it go to my desktop, and I'll select a new file type. This time I'll save it as a JPEG image. So it'll be called, not FIRD, but almost first, FIRT image.jpg going to my desktop. When you save something as a JPEG, before you can save it, up will come this dialog box, and it asks about the quality of the image. And there's a slider. The farther right you slide it, the higher quality of the image you get, but the less compression you get. Another module in the course talks about how image compression is done and how when you choose to have less compression, it finds less patterns. And if you have more compression, it kind of gloms in pixels into patterns, and in doing that loses some clarity and accuracy in the picture. Typically for JPEG, for printing and putting things on web pages, 60% quality is a good level in that you don't lose much accuracy or clarity, virtually imperceivable to the human eye, but you get good compression. And you can play with the quality levels if you don't like what comes out of it, but typically 60% is a good quality level. So I'll save that. And now when I look on my desktop, I see two, FerdImage.bmp, which is the one I saved a few minutes ago, and FerdImage.jpg, which is the image that I just saved. Now we look at the file sizes of those two images. Again, I'm on a Windows 7 computer. So on a Windows 7 computer, to get the file size, I hover over it. This is FirstImage.bmp. I right-click and choose Properties. And I get one dialog box. Again, if you're on a Macintosh, you need to go to the course website and look at the help fact to see how to get file sizes for files on Macintoshes. You right-click here on FirstImage.bmp and choose its properties. And let's put them next to each other. We see that the file size of FirstImage.bmp is 750 KB, or 750,000 bytes. We see that the file size of the same image, the same little smiley face, as a JPEG is 11.7 KB, or almost 12,000 bytes. So it's 12,000 bytes for JPEG, 750,000 bytes for bitmap. The reason is, as was covered in another module, lecture in another module of the course, bitmap images are uncompressed. So every dot of that smile face is saved in the bitmap. So taking a look at the smile face image, the way the bitmap was created was that every pixel, all this white up here, each pixel has a byte or 2 or 3 or 4 saved for it. So it's saving white, 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 white. All of these bytes are being saved until it gets to some byte where there's some black in it, and then it'll save a different pixel. But a vast majority of the pixels of this drawing are just white pixels, and the bitmap has to store a code for white pixel over and over and over again. Whereas a JPEG image would know that there's a huge pattern of white pixels and simply put in the pattern white and the number of times to repeat it. By doing that, it doesn't have to take anywhere near as many bytes to store the information about the image. And we see that when we look at the file sizes. 750,000 bytes means that there's 750,000 pixels in here, most of them white, a few of them black. Here, they were able to, for JPEG, it was able to use just 12,000 bytes to store the same image information about the image, possibly losing a little quality here and there, but not quality that's perceivable to the human eye when it's, say, put on a web page or printed. There are other important file formats like GIF, which is also compressed, and PNG, which is also compressed, and GIMP can save in those file formats as well.